When one door opens, another one closes. The first two games of the 81 World Series, this guy played a big factor, had a couple of big hits, would have been the MVP for the Yankees if he would have won the series, and they became a household name pretty well overnight. Now, a lot of people didn't really like him as a hitter, and when he was Houston, he was kind of nondescript like John Mayberry was in Kansas City. But for me, this guy was worth $1 million, and I think the biggest problem we had with Bob Watson is the fact is he never tooted his own horn. A very quiet semi superstar, not a super duper star, but up there. Now Robert Jose Watson, born L.A., California, 1946, was a American pro baseball player, coach, and GM. He played in MLB as a first baseman and left fielder from 66 to 84, most prominently as a member of the up and coming Houston Astros of the 60s, where he was a two-time All-Star player. He had a 295 batting average over an outstanding career to also some played for the Red Sox, the Yankees, and the Braves. After retiring as a player, he was a coach for the Oakland Athletics for 4 years before he joined the Astros front office. In '93, he became the second African American GM in Major League history with the Astros. He then served as the Yankees GM from '95 to '98, during which the team won the '96 World Series. He also became the first African American GM to operate a team which would win the World Series. He later served as MLB Vice President in charge of discipline and Vice President of Rules and On-Field Operations from '02 to 2010. In 2020, he was inducted in Houston Astros Hall of Fame. Now, some question if he should be considered for the Baseball Hall of Fame because of his management combined with his play. That's not for me to determine. I don't know enough of Bob Watson's early career. I only started really watching him when he came over from Houston to the Yankees. Now, born in L.A., his parents ironically separated prior to his birth, and his grandparents raised him. He attended John C. Fremont High School, where he played for the school's baseball team as a catcher. Now, the man who was affectionately called Bull helped him win the '63 city title. Watson's high school teammates included future major leaguers Willie Crawford, who played in the '74 World Series, and of course the great Bobby Tolan. Watson went on to attend L.A. Harbor College. Now, the Astros signed Watson as an amateur free agent in January '65. He nearly quit baseball while playing in minor leagues for an affiliate based in Savannah due to segregation he saw in restaurants and hotels. He said in published reports at the time of the World Series in '81, he said, "I grew up in an unfair era and I didn't want to put up with it anymore." Now, he eventually converted to first base in the outfield by the time he made his major league debut with the Astros in September '66. Watson, for many, was a purely dependable hitter whose home run numbers were somewhat hurt by the fact he played the majority of his career at the Astrodome, for which had a reputation for being a pitcher-friendly ballpark. So somebody hitting 18 home runs in Houston Astrodome would hit 30 every place else. From '66 through '70, he appeared in less than 100 games each season for the Astros, batting .259 with 14 home runs and 74 runs batted in overall. From '77 through '78, he appeared in at least 129 games each season, batting .303 with 122 home runs and a combined 690 RBIs. He was selected as an All-Star twice in '73 and '75. Now, on June 24, '77, he made This Week in Baseball for hitting for the cycle and a 6-5 victory over the Giants. And in total, during his 14 seasons with the Astros, he appeared in 1,381 games, batting .297 with 139 home runs and 781 RBIs. Now, on June 13, 1979, the Astros traded Watson to Red Sox in exchange for Pete Ladd and a player to be named later, which turns out to be Bobby Sproul. Watson played 84 games with the Red Sox through the remainder of the season, batting .337 with 13 homers and 53 RBIs. On September 15, '79, he again hit for the cycle. Having already hit for the cycle with the Astros in '77, he became the first player to accomplish this feat in both the NL and AL. Now, following the season, he signed as a free agent with the Yankees. With the Yankees, he reached the postseason for the first time in his career, losing to the Royals 3 straight in the 1980 American League Title Series. A year later, Watson reached the World Series for the only time in his career. He had 2 home runs and batted .318 for the Yankees with 7 RBIs, but the Bronx Bombers lost to the LA Dodgers in a 6-game heartbreak. Now, He was nearly dealt the next year along with Oscar Gamble and Mike Morgan from the Yankees to the Rangers for Al Oliver prior to the 82 season, but the transaction was squashed by Gamble, whose contract had a list of 8 teams to which he can be traded, which did not include the Rangers. He was eventually traded to the Braves for Scott Patterson on April 23rd, 82. I don't really know why Watson was pushed out of New York unless with Jackson leaving, Steinbrenner was trying to dump contract. Now, Watson eventually propelled the Braves to the 82 National League World Series West title. In 83, Watson hit 309 mostly as a pinch hitter and retired after the 84 season. In his MLB career, 19 years and 832 regular season games played, 295, 184 home runs, and 989 RBIs. He batted 371 in 17 postseason games. Now, the big controversy him had nothing to do with something he did, but him scoring the allegedly 1 million run in Major League Baseball history on Sunday, May 4th, 75 at 12:32 in the afternoon. Now, Watson scored from second base on a 3-run homer by teammate Milt May at San Francisco's Candlestill Park. It was known that the 999,999 run had already scored, with sponsored updates being provided by and to every ballpark. Despite the lack of in-game urgency, Watson ran at full speed, reaching home plate approximately 4 seconds before Dave Concepcion, who had just homered in Cincinnati and was also racing around the base paths. I never ran so fast in my life, said Concepcion. But it was Watson who won $10,000 and 1 million Tootsie Rolls provided by the event sponsor. The 1 millionth run total only included runs scored in the National and American Leagues and not third major leagues such as the Federal League. Watson joked that in the aftermath of the event, his fan mail doubled from 4 letters to 8. Later, more accurate recalculations of baseball's record-keeping showed that neither Watson nor Concepcion scored baseball's actual million run, and it's still not known who did. Now, after retirement, he moved into coaching and again was a hitting coach for the A's for 4 years. The Astros hired Watson as their assistant GM after the 88 campaign. Now, at the end of the 93 season, Watson was named GM of the Astros, becoming the second African-American, following Atlanta Braves' Bill Lucas, to serve as a GM in Major Leagues. After the 95 season, the Yankees hired Watson away from Houston to serve as GM, and again he was there from October 95 to February 98. The 96 team won the World Series, the first Yankee team to do so since 78, and their first World Series title in 20 years. Thus, Watson became the first African-American GM to win a World Series title. Now, after the 97 season, Watson retired from the Yankees. He served as MLB's vice president in charge of discipline and vice president of rules and on-field operations beginning in 2002. In 2007, he was also under consideration for a return engagement as the Astros GM. Now, in 2000, Watson worked with USA Baseball to select the team roster in baseball at the 2000 Summer Games. The United States national team won the gold medal under his tutelage. Now, he eventually drew criticism late in the 2007 season. Under his watch, MLB mandated that managers could no longer wear a team-issued pullover instead of a uniform jersey top. This caused particular friction between MLB and Red Sox manager Terry Francona, who prefers to wear a pullover due to circulation problems. There's going to be, for lack of a better term, a Francona rule, Watson said. You can only wear your uniform top or jacket. You can't wear your nightshirt or whatever it is. You can wear it before games or after games, but not during games. You have to have your uniform top on at all times. Now, during the second inning of a Red Sox-Yankees game on August 28th, an MLB representative arrived to verify that Francona was wearing a uniform jersey. The Boston media saw this as frivolous or even biased due to the public's alleged indifference towards the issue, the specific use of Francona as an example, and the fact that a representative appeared during an important in-division matchup. Now, Watson retired from his position with MLB in 2010. Now, Watson and his beautiful wife, Carol, had 2 children. Now, while playing for Houston, Watson, along with several teammates, made a cameo appearance in the 77 movie, The Bad News Bears and Breaking Training. Of course, it was Bob Watson that used the key chant word, "Let them play." He's the guy who said it, and then he said, "Let them play." Very natural actor. Now, unfortunately, he was diagnosed with prostate cancer in March of 94, which was successfully treated. Watson wrote about the experience with prostate cancer in his 97 book, Survive to Win, and spoke regularly at cancer awareness conferences and with players and staff in MLB. Watson's advocacy has been credited with detecting and treating many MLB personnel, including the great Joe Torre. Now, in 1999, Watson completed a Bachelor of Science degree with a concentration in sports management at New York's Empire State College. Unfortunately, Watson was diagnosed with stage 4 kidney disease in 2016. He died on May 14, 2000, from that illness at the age of 74. Now, he was what you call a what you see is what you get type of player, and I think he's ranks as one of the most underrated players in Major League Baseball history because he put up consistent numbers, so consistent that it just mind-boggling how consistent he was. And I'll give you a reason why. From 1970, this is from 1970 to 1980, 1161 homers and RBIs, 967, 1686, 1694, 1167, 1885, back-to-back seasons of 100 RBIs in 76 and 77 with 38 home runs, 1479, 1671, then with New York, 1368. 81 with New York, he had a really bad regular season with only 6 home runs and 12 RBIs with 158 official plate appearances. But again, in the postseason, that's where he shone. In an average season, 16 home runs, 87 RBIs, 295, 160 hits. Sounds like a perfect number 5 hitter, like a George Springer or something like that. So let's look at these postseason numbers, ladies and gentlemen, and they're quite interesting. He didn't play in the postseason with the Braves in 82, by the way. Would have been third consecutive years. So ALCS, he had 500 in 1980 with 6 hits, 12 at-bats. 81 ALDS, he had 458. And the ALCS, he had batted 250. And in the World Series, he batted 318 with 7 RBIs. That puts this in perspective. He had 2 home runs and 9 RBIs in 14 playoff contests. Compared to the regular season, he barely broke a dozen in there. But the grand totals of him is quite interesting. In the 4 series he played in, he had 23 hits, 62 at-bats, 371, 2 home runs, 9 RBIs, and only 2 strikeouts. So a good positional player. And good on defense as well. He had some pretty solid numbers through the years. He had a career 991 percentage. Only committed only a few errors, as we say. But ladies and gentlemen, the idea about Bob Watson, no matter what team he played for, whatever franchise he played for, he was consistent as can be. And players like that are very valued. He'd be a $10 to $15 million player in 2024. But what he did in management for the black athlete, for the black executive, I think he deserves to be in Baseball Hall of Fame because he was a guy that everybody respected. I know that Red Sox fans don't respect him too much, but Bob Watson would have come up, like my dad said, if we had 3 Bob Watsons in Montreal in 82, we had Al Oliver, which is just a clone of Bob Watson, or Bob Watson is Al Oliver. Ironically, they were going to trade him and 2 other players for Al Oliver. It didn't work out. But ladies and gentlemen, I really miss him because to see the consistency he did, what you see is what you get. He was never in trouble in any game I saw, and the umpires never talked to him like they were kind of scared of him. He's a big, he's like you said, he was a big dude. Not say imposing, but a big solid 6 feet, 200 pounds. And I know his fans in Houston really miss him an awful lot. And he wasn't egotistic. I give you a reason why. He wore so many different uniforms when he played. With Houston, he played 4 different uniforms. He wasn't about himself. And, there's a place for a Bob Watson. If there was an executive Hall of Fame for MLB, it's not like hockey is with the Pro Hockey Hall of Fame. But I think he deserves to get in there just for, I'm thinking, let's do the rough numbers, ladies and gentlemen. From 1966 to his passing, that's 54 years of service directly and indirectly to Major League Baseball. I think that's really tremendous. So thanks for listening. If you like what you're doing here, give us a like, comment, subscribe, or share. Bye.